In Wales, they have decided to make 20 miles per hour the default urban speed limit. The old Welsh government guidelines stated that speed limits should be evidence-led, self-explaining, and seek to reinforce people's assessment of what is a safe speed to travel, and that speed limits should encourage self-compliance and not be seen by drivers as being a target speed at which to drive in all circumstances. The new guidelines go fuck it and state that decisions on exceptions should not be influenced by existing traffic speeds.
Stop! That is brilliant! That is inspired!
Apparently, there was never a good reason to look at average speeds, road use, or engineering recommendations in the setting of speed limits. It's simply that previous governments had failed to disregard them.
My goodness, what an idea. Why didn't I think of that?
However, there's a common misconception about speed limits. I'll leave it to former Welsh First Minister Mark Drakeford to explain that one.
People don't travel at 20 miles an hour in 20 mile an hour limits, that is very clear, but they travel at 24 miles an hour, and if it's 30 miles limit, they travel at 34 miles an hour.
Investment in one... What bullshit!
Firstly, you shouldn't set a law openly. In the expectation that most people won't follow it, speed limits are meant to single out and target reckless drivers.
Whoa! You drove like that on a public highway, you deserve to be called a raving maniac!
Also, if this were true, you would never have needed to introduce any kind of traffic calming or road design changes. You could always just set the speed limit lower. A DFT study had the following to say on this: "It is a common but mistaken belief that drivers allow themselves a set margin over the prevailing speed limit, and that if a limit is raised by 10 miles per hour, they will travel 10 miles per hour faster. In fact, an increase in an unrealistic speed limit rarely brings an increase in traffic speeds." It is much more likely that there will be no change or even a fall. It seems that drivers relieved of the frustrations of too low a limit rarely abuse the higher one.
You can prove anything with facts, can't you?
And yes, you did hear that right. In some cases, lowering the speed limit has caused speeds to increase. This tends to be more likely to happen when you include higher standard roads.
They've done studies, 60% of the time it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
It's depressing to see the Welsh First Minister peddling this sort of nonsense, rather than doing more to educate people about how speed limits work and what makes them effective.
These are small, but the ones out there are far away.
According to the Atkins study on 20 limits, the average speed of free-flowing vehicles drops on average by 1.3 miles per hour. That's for a 10-mile-per-hour drop in the speed vulnerable pedestrians are told to expect the majority of traffic to be going.
These aren't accidents. They're throwing themselves into the road gladly. Throwing themselves into the road to escape all this hideousness. Throw yourselves into the road, darling. You haven't got a chance.
And that says very little about the behaviour of the fastest drivers. That speed limits are normally there to single out. They're the least likely to slow down when limits get reduced, and the most likely to do harm. So how do we make roads safer? On faster main roads, pedestrians should be given safe places to cross and a clear expectation of what speed the majority of traffic will be going. In areas where pedestrians and vehicles interact, it's better to have fewer rules and let altruism rule. This causes uncertainty in drivers' minds, causing them to slow down naturally and traffic flows more organically.
Here we are in Gossip Square, as it's known, in Norrköping, Sweden. Tell me about this square. I mean, we're just standing in the middle of the street.
Yeah, but you're allowed to stand here because there are no regulations.
In short, we don't have simple answers to a complicated problem, but just posting a lower speed limit on all roads without taking any account of established recommendations for setting limits is not the answer.
See, the numbers all go to 11. Look, right across the board. 11, 11,
and most of
11,
the
and then
amps go up to 10.
Exactly.